Hi,
There we
everyone.
go.
This is Jacqueline from She Rises Studios, and welcome to today's author celebration for the Authentic Leadership Playbook. Step into your power, own the room, redefine the rules, a bold and timely leadership guide by Dr. Elizabeth Pritchard and Christine Burns. In a world that often rewards performance over presence, these two powerhouse coaches invite us to lead differently with purpose, emotional agility, a grounded confidence backed by neuroscience, psychology, and decades of real world experiences. The authentic leadership playbook flips the traditional leadership script. It's not about checking boxes, it's about becoming the kind of leader people trust, follow, and remember. And the world is clearly listening. This book is already a number one Amazon bestseller in 8 UK categories, including
Yes.
bestseller in business management and leadership, success ebooks, and applied psychology, plus top three in hot new releases. Clearly, this message is resonating, and today we're celebrating that impact. Let's give a warm welcome to the incredible authors behind this movement, Dr. Elizabeth Pritchard and Christine Burns. Hey, how
Yeah.
are you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Woohoo.
Pretty exciting.
That is very
It,
exciting.
Very,
it
very exciting.
is very exciting indeed. In just a short period of time, you are already making such a noise, and this book is clearly making an impact. Now, before we go to the book, why don't we, for the people that are just listening to us today, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves and let us know what inspired you to write the Authentic Leadership Playbook?
Fantastic. So I'm Elizabeth, out of that Elizabeth and Christine authors. And what inspired us to write this is that we've been coaching and training around authentic leadership for about a decade now. And we keep coming and working with people that keep trying to do it a different way, keep trying to do the traditional models of leadership, keep trying to lead like that person or that man or that other person over there or that entity over there who has totally different strengths to what they have. And they keep tying themselves up in knots, getting internal conflict, and then ending up burning out and hating their role or their career. And so it's like there is a way through this. There is a way to lead authentically, lead from who you are being. You lead from who you are and your strengths, which is absolutely unique to each of you. And so we wrote this book, which is a practical guide of how-tos. We learn them the hard way. You don't have to learn them the hard way.
Yeah,
That's
it was
wonderful.
pretty much that thing of wanting to share that message so that people could do it the easy way and do it the practical way. So it's not just a bunch of information. It's not just stuff you read and you go, hey, that's nice, that's cool. It's the stuff that you read resonates with you, and then you can implement things straight away. That was the shift that we wanted to make out there.
This is a shortcut to great leadership, right? We don't have the leaders now at this age and time. They don't have to go through testing what works and doesn't work. We already have the playbook here. Now,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
and that's just wonderful, very exciting. And this book challenges, though, the idea of leadership as performance, because that has always been our mindset when it comes to leadership. What's the danger of performing leadership instead of being a leader?
The massive danger is Elizabeth was saying, is things like burnout. We're going to have an internal external conflict. We're going to be thinking we should be doing it this way, we should do it like that person, when on the inside we actually know ourselves that, but that's not me, that's not the way I'd say it, that's not the way I'd do it. So we end up with this conflict. So then we get dis-ease, we get burnout, we get all these chronic diseases that start to happen. The other problem, the big problem that comes in then, is the team is not going to follow you, or the team is not going to be with you, or the connections, the rapport is not going to be there, because when we're not being our true self, people pick it up. There's that thing where you'll meet someone and you're like, man, that person's cool. I really like that person. I don't know what it is. Yeah, because they're being their true self. They're not performing. When we meet other people, and I'm sure all of you have been in this kind of situation at different times, is we meet someone, we're like, I don't know, something about it. No, not quite sure. And you can't put it into words. They're out of alignment. They're performing. It's like a seal. We put a seal on those shows, the or kind of stuff, and they're performing. And like, yeah, that's cool, boring out. It's not being its natural self. And dis-ease, all of that kind of stuff, stress levels, burnout, we lose people. We're not being, we're trying to fit a box by thinking we should perform. Yeah.
That's true. And, and that's very true. And I totally believe that when we are misaligned on who we really are, people see through us, right? And they might not be able to pinpoint really what's wrong, but something is not right, right? Now, let's go a little bit technical here, because this book is backed by science and neuroscience and psychology, really. How does these sciences support the idea that presence is more powerful than pressure?
Absolutely. There's so much science behind it. I was just thinking, where do I start? I think that the powerful thing about neuroscience is that every time we think a thought, we release a chemical in our bodies. And every time we have that chemical in our body interprets that as a feeling. And then that feeling then leads to how we act and what we do and our behaviors that come from that. And so it's think, feel, do, have. And when we realize that can come into leadership, this is incredibly powerful because it comes into that congruence. And as Dr. Joe Dispenza and many other researchers and scientists have actually shown and proven that the thoughts actually change the chemical molecular construction in our bodies. It changes the way our body feels. It changes what we are experiencing, and then we do what we do. So the Authentic Leadership Playbook is all about getting into the mindset, recognizing what those patterns are that we have in our lives. And there's no right, wrong, good, bad. It just is. We all have patterns that we've created because they've kept us safe. They've created our own level of genius we were at right here, right now. They've helped us survive. They've helped us to thrive. They've helped us to be who we are in our lives right here, right now. And so those patterns, when we recognize that we can notice them, and then we can have a pause. This is one of the formulas in the book, the NPC formula. Yep. We notice them, we have a pause, and then we can choose again. Because consciously, purposefully, intentionally, we can choose. And when we recognize that as a leader, when we recognize that it's the psychology, when we recognize it's about noticing and creating a different chemical release and a different outcome, therefore a different pattern, we get to create. And you'll notice my language here. We don't have to, we don't need to, we don't should to. We get to create new patterns of thinking, being, doing, and having. And that's the exciting thing, that it is backed up with absolute science. And we get more and more science every decade coming through from psychology and neuroscience and neuroencoding. Christine and I also trained in neuroencoding techniques that we bring into our trainings. And we know it works. We experience it. We have worked with hundreds and thousands of people where it has worked. It has changed the patterns, and they have begun to step into thriving in a whole new way.
That's awesome. And I love that you mentioned that, this is just one of the formulas you have in the book. Clearly, and we all know this is what we need, actual practical formulas, steps that we can take as leaders, right? It's not just all theory. And one of the framework actually of this particular book is the be, do, have. Is that correct? Be, do,
Yep.
have framework.
Be, do, have.
Awesome. Great. This particular framework is very interesting. How do you think leaders can stay calm in chaos without being disconnected or disengaging just following this particular framework?
One of the usually the back to front, and I'll go back to front first. Most leaders, and especially when people get under stress, will go have, do, and then forget the be. And if they do have the be, it's been controlled by the have and the do. So most people will go back to front and they'll go, but I have to have this and I have to have that and it has to be like this and I have to have. And it's like, woo-wee. And at that point, we're already external. And then we jump into the, like most people, this is back to front here. So most people will jump into the do. What do I need to do to have that? I have to do this and I have to do that and I have to do the next thing and then I've got to do that and then this has to happen and I have to do more and have more and then if I do twice as much, I'll have twice as much and then put it on the to-do list. And I hate doing this and I do this particular thing with my coaches, my clients, I should say. So it's the wrong way and we get caught and then we're like, and now I'm being really chaotic and I'm being all stressy because they've gone the wrong way. Right. So where we need to go and what we need to do is we need to identify what we want to have. We must know what we want to have and we want to have the calmness. We want to have the clarity. We want to have the certainty, the consistency. So then what we want to do is jump just at that point, miss out the do, jump over to the be. Who do I be to have that? And it's like, whoa. Don't I just do it? No. I be my true authentic self. And there's lots in the book that tells you how to do that and takes you through activities to be able to put that into practice. So it's about who you're being to have those. We're connected to ourselves. Therefore, we get this ability to dial down and dial in. The chaos, the craziness, the stress, whoosh, off it goes. Because we're here, we're being internal, we're listening to these two things together. And when we listen to our head and our heart together and we be our true authentic self, we're going to do things differently and we're going to do different things. Therefore, we're going to have even better outcomes. And so when we look at who we're being, who we're showing up as, we be the calm, we be certain, we be courageous, we be clarity, we be certainty, all of those things. Then we do things differently, do different things that leads us to have the calmness, the connectedness, the creativity, and the awesome, amazing outcomes within our team. And then it really tightens teams up as well by being that true person.
That's wonderful. Wonderful framework. And it's not difficult to understand, right? It's just be, do, and have. Very practical. Now, if there are listeners, our viewers out there who are interested to learn more about this particular framework, aside from reading your book, reading your book, where can people connect with you?
Absolutely. So you will find us all over everything, as we do, to create this amazing movement of authentic leaders across the world. And so our company name is WALT Institute, WALT Institute, Women Authentic Leadership Training Institute. And you will find us in there. Christine also specializes with leaders and athletes. And so you will find her on the some of the sports psychology and high performance what's the word high performance centers and YouTube and Insta and LinkedIn. You will find us everywhere, but check us out first on waltinstitute.com, our website, which will give you insights. It gives you some free tools as well and how to connect with both Christine and myself.
That's awesome. And final thought, if you could leave leaders watching today with one powerful invitation, what would it be?
Get really comfortable being uncomfortable. You know, get. It's not even that. Get into the discomfort. Be okay with discomfort. That's what I'd say. Is like in this one, look, this discomfort. Be okay with discomfort because it's going to take you places you never thought you could get.
That's awesome.
mine is-
Elizabeth?
Yeah, mine is to step into being you and owning it.
Yeah.
Owning yourself, owning the things that annoy you about yourself, owning the things that rack you up, owning the things that you respond when you think, I could have been a better person in that moment. I could have responded differently, but you didn't. So what? Accept it. Move on. Get on with it. Get on with being you. Step into being you, your powerful, authentic self. Nobody else is like you. And when each one of us goes, okay, so that's part of me, and recognize that it's a pattern. And if it's a pattern that's not serving you going forward, then we can change it. Absolutely. We can tweak it. We can change it. We can create that new pathway, that new neural pathway in our brains that has a different outcome because we are being ourselves. We are being okay with the uncomfortableness, and we are being on that pathway to our true authentic self.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Elizabeth and Christine. This has been a very inspiring, very interesting conversation, and you have given us more than just strategies, but gifted us a new framework for how we show up as leaders, as change makers, and as fully aligned humans. The Be2 Have model reminds us that authentic leadership starts within, and that when we lead from that place, the results are not just measurable, they become meaningful. To the leaders out there, if you haven't grabbed your copy yet, Authentic Leadership Playbook is now available on Amazon. Step into your power, redefine the rules, and lead with authenticity. Thanks again, everyone, and have a great day.
Bye.